Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki ओमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशधारिणे जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्ण। Okay, so I'm going to continue with 1:4:27. Okay. Nati prasidad hridayah sarvasvatyastatesu chau vitarkayan viviktastha idam chovacha dharmavet. Thus the sage, being dissatisfied at heart, at once began to reflect because he knew the essence of religion, and he said to himself. In the previous verse, still his mind was not satisfied, although he engaged himself in working for the total welfare of all the people. So Vyasadeva had divided the Vedas into four. He had worked on Mahabharata, etc. So, but still he was not satisfied. His mind was not satisfied, although he engaged himself in working for the total welfare of all the people. So social welfare will not necessarily give us the ultimate satisfaction. No, that is only for people who are in the material mode of goodness. They might get satisfied by doing social welfare work. But Vyasadeva here, so he has done the greatest welfare work for all people by providing Vedas in a way that is consumable for them. But still, his mind was not satisfied. So because he was not satisfied, he at once began to reflect. Now, this is a very important thing, actually. As devotees, practicing devotees, we have to reflect. Reflect means actually what needs to happen. What is reflection? Reflection means thinking about something that we are experiencing in conjunction with scriptures. So something has happened. Now we have to understand whatever has happened, etc., in conjunction with scriptures. So how can we reflect? You can reflect only if we are reading scriptures. Sometimes we read scriptures, but we don't really meditate on what we read. Then it is very difficult to reflect. Reflection can happen only when that knowledge is in the head, right? So then we can, because sometimes, though there is knowledge, we might not act on the basis of that knowledge because of situations, our lack of control over our own senses, etc., etc. Right? And when situation has passed, and when we sit and think about what has happened and think in line with the scriptures, then we can understand what was right, what was wrong, etc. So he's saying at once he began to reflect because he knew the essence of religion. He knew the essence of religion. So the other thing, important thing about reflection, introspection, etc. If we don't do this, actually we will not, we can make very fast progress if we do this reflection business, right? And keep identifying where we are going wrong, what we need to do to, improve, change, move fast, etc. We can reflect. Sometimes if we are not able to understand how to move forward, etc., we can consult senior devotees, because they can help. But the introspection process has to start in us, right? We have to start, and then we can seek help from other. And the important thing, like it said, because he knew the essence of religion, he could reflect, right? Because if he did not know, then what would he reflect with, right? So there won't be anything, any basis for him to think. So he said to himself. So here Prabhupada is, two-line purport, amazing statement. He says, perfection is never attained until one is satisfied at heart. This satisfaction of heart has to be searched out beyond matter. Beyond matter. So why do we say satisfied at heart? So heart, physical, not the physical heart. So this is the, actually the heart is the seat of the mind. The place of the heart, where our heart is situated, is the seat of the mind. Mind is the seat of thinking, feeling, willing. So all the emotions actually we are experiencing in the mind, all the happiness, distress, everything we are experiencing in the mind. So not satisfied heart means not satisfied in mind. Mind and heart are used interchangeably. And the soul is also present in the same area, right? So this region of the heart is very, very important. People think region of the head is important. No, region of the heart is important. So because the Atma is there, Paramatma is there, mind is sitting seat. It is the seat of the mind. Now, perfection is never attained unless one is satisfied at heart. So this is a very deep statement. So we might be engaged in devotional service, but if we are not satisfied with what we are doing, if we are still looking for something, then we will not achieve perfection. In the sense, we will not be single-pointedly focused. We will not make progress, etc., etc. So, man, Krishna consciousness is such that not just satisfaction, but we can also experience happiness. Right. So Prabhupada is saying here, this satisfaction of heart has to be searched out beyond matter, because matter will not satisfy us, because we are Atma. We can be satisfied only by other spiritual things, not by material things, right? Because our nature is we are spiritual. And perfection is never attained unless one is satisfied at heart. So when we engage in devotional service, we become satisfied, we become happy, and then we want to do more. If we are not satisfied at heart with whatever we are doing, then we might seek a different path which might give us satisfaction. And it cannot be that Krishna consciousness doesn't give satisfaction or happiness. It is by design. It gives satisfaction and happiness if done properly. If we follow the instructions of Guru, Shastra, Sadhu, then we will automatically experience happiness and satisfaction. And then we will tread the path of perfection. So here Vyasadeva was not satisfied. So he said to himself, he said within himself, Dhrutavratena hi maya chandamsi guravonnayah manita nirvyalikena grihitam chanushasanam bharatapyapadeshena hyamna yarthascha pradarshitah drishyate yatra dharmadi Shudradivirrapyuta. I have, under strict disciplinary vows, unpretentiously worshipped the Vedas, the spiritual masters, and the altar of sacrifice. So this word unpretentiously is very, very important. We can pretend. We can pretend to be someone else, but whom can we cheat? Whom are we trying to cheat? The Lord knows our heart. So that is why sincerity, Prabhupada always says, Prabhupada said one very important sentence, sincerity and seriousness. These are the core principles for us to make progress. So sincerity, we have to be sincere. There's no point in being duplicitous, being pretentious. No use. So here Vyasadeva is saying that I have followed strict disciplinary vows, first of all, because that is the basis for any spiritual practice, strict disciplinary vows. Unpretentiously, we worship the Vedas, also spiritual masters and the altar of sacrifice. So spiritual masters also, a lot of people actually say Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. But that is only in words. We should not just pretend to glorify Prabhupada. Actually, one who is strictly glorifying Prabhupada will follow his instructions, right? And try to please him to the best of his ability. I have also abided by the rulings and have shown the import of disciplic succession through the explanation of the Mahabharata. The Mahabharata, Prabhupada says here, okay, so Mahabharata, by which even women, Shudras and others, Dvijabandhus, can see the path of religion. So Purport Prabhupada says, no one can understand the import of the Vedas without having undergone a strict disciplinary vow and disciplic succession. So we should be in disciplic succession, we should follow strict disciplinary vows. Only then one can understand the import of the Vedas. The Vedas, spiritual masters and sacrificial fire must be worshipped by the desiring candidate. All these intricacies of Vedic knowledge are systematically presented in the Mahabharata. So this is the beauty of Mahabharata. Actually, Mahabharata, while it might seem like some story, some fascinating stuff, some masala, etc. But actually what Vyasadeva has done is he's given all the intricacies of Vedic knowledge in Mahabharata in such a way that it can be understood by the woman class, laborer class, and unqualified members of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya families, which are the Dvijabandhus. In this age, the Mahabharata is more essential than the original Vedas. More essential in the sense it can be more easily understood and applied than the Vedas, which can be done only by Brahmanas who are super qualified, with Brahmana guna. But for others, three Vaishyas Tata Shudras, the Dvijabandhus, Mahabharata. And that is why actually the Madhva Sampradaya, their main book is Mahabharata. And for us it is Mahabharata also, because already obviously Bhagavad Gita is in Mahabharata. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that it is actually from Bhagavad Gita we have to go to Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Of course, Mahabharata also, because it is, Prabhupada said, right? Like, because it is always connected, it is connected with Krishna, it is purifying. So people who are very attracted to Mahabharata want to hear the stories, etc., etc., because Krishna is there all the time, right? Only so because they come in contact with Krishna, they become purified. So Mahabharata is absolutely, but of course it has to be understood in disciplic succession, not like somebody wrote a story, somebody presented Mahabharata, some mundane author. It should be in disciplic succession, but it is more essential than the original Vedas, for the reason that we are not qualified to understand the Vedas. Tatapi batame daihyo shyatma chaivatmana vibhu asampannaiva bhati brahmavarchasya sattamaha. I am feeling incomplete, though I myself am fully equipped with everything required by the Vedas. So Vyasadeva is, I'm fully equipped with everything that is there in the Vedas, but I'm still feeling incomplete. People actually come to the path of spirituality because they feel incomplete on the material path that they tread. Right? But here Vyasadeva, who is incarnation of the Supreme Lord, he is feeling incomplete. So Prabhupada writes, undoubtedly Srila Vyasadeva was complete in all details of Vedic achievements. Vedas allow us to understand our prescribed duties, follow them for perfection, etc., etc. But the ultimate achievement is different, Prabhupada says. So this reveals in next verse. So he says, Kim va bhagavata dharmana prayena nirupita priyah paramahamsanam taeva hyachyuta priyah priyah paramahamsanam taeva hi achyuta priyah. This may be because I did not specifically point out the devotional service of the Lord, which is dear both to the perfect beings, Paramahamsana, and to the infallible Lord, Achyuta. Achyuta Priyaha. It is attractive to Achyuta also and to his devotees. So he because he was pure in heart, so it was revealed to him what was the reason for his dissatisfaction. तस्यैवं खिलमात्मानं मन्यमानस्य खिद्यतः कृष्णस्य नारदोऽभ्यागाद् आश्रमं प्रागुदाहृतम्. As mentioned before, Narada reached the cottage of Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa on the banks of the Saraswati, just as Vyasadeva was regretting his defects. Prabhupada writes in the purport, the vacuum felt by Vyasadeva was not due to his lack of knowledge. So just by having knowledge, we cannot feel complete, we cannot feel happy. Even if it is transcendental knowledge. Bhagavata Dharma is purely devotional service of the Lord, to which the monist has no access. So monist, Nirakaravadi, they have knowledge, but they don't have access. Just because they have knowledge, it doesn't mean that they will achieve perfection. So even though they have knowledge, they can feel the vacuum, and they feel the vacuum. Because they feel the vacuum, because they are not engaged in devotional service, then they end up in temporarily accepting devotional service, temporarily accepting Archana Vidhi, process of worship of the Shri Archa Vigraha. Because they feel vacuum, they experience vacuum, like hollowness. Even though they have all the knowledge, naiti, gnana, they have amassed so much of knowledge, but no satisfaction. Why? Because Bhagavata Dharma is not accessible to them. They cannot access Bhagavata Dharma. The monist is not counted among the Paramahamsas. So here in this verse, it is said that because I have not talked about devotional service, written specifically about devotional service, which is dear to the Paramahamsas. Prabhupada is clarifying. The Nirakaravadi sannyasis, they are not Paramahamsas. They are not classified under the Paramahamsas. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is full of narrations of the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. Although Vyasadeva was an empowered divinity, he still felt dissatisfaction, because in none of his works were the transcendental activities of the Lord properly explained. It was not that it was not there. It was there here and there, right? But not full attention, full justice was not made. The inspiration was infused by Sri Krishna directly in the heart of Vyasadeva, and thus he felt the vacuum as explained above. So just because somebody has knowledge, even if somebody has knowledge pertaining to Krishna, but if they are not engaged in devotional service, it will possibly not, they will not experience the happiness devotee experiences. Right? So the key here is actually devotional service. That is why Narada here, Vyasadeva here is saying that because I did not specifically talk about devotional service. Tam abhignaya sahasa pratyuthayagatam manihi pujayamasa vidhivan naradam surapujitam. At the auspicious arrival of Sri Narada, Sri Vyasadeva got up respectfully and worshipped him, giving him veneration equal to that given to Brahmaji, the creator. Because he's a representative of Brahmaji, Narada is our second Acharya in the line of spiritual disciplic succession, and his guru. So for all these reasons, he worshipped and gave him a lot of respect. So with this, we end the 4th chapter entitled Appearance of Sri Narada. Now we go to chapter 5, Narada's instructions on Śrīmad Bhāgavatam for Vyasadeva. Shuta vacha atattam sukhamasina upasinam bruhatravaha devarshi praha upiprashyam veena Veena Pani Smayan Iva. Suta Goswami said, thus the sage amongst the gods, Narada, comfortably seated and apparently smiling, addressed the rishi among the Brahmanas, Vedavyasa, apparently smiling. Narada was smiling because he well knew the great sage Vedavyasa and the cause of his disappointment. So here two nice things, right? He well knew the great sage Vedavyasa. So Guru knows his Shishya. Guru knows his disciple. He knows his disciple well. Sometimes, previously I used to get bewildered, saying that how I'm not in touch with my Guru Maharaj at all. How will he know? And his own is Bhakti Vikas Maharaj answered in one Q&A session that actually this connection happens through Paramatma. So Paramatma makes the connection. Paramatma reveals the position of the disciple to the Guru. Paramatma makes the Guru speak certain specific instructions in front of the disciple and so on and so forth. So this is not happening on the material platform. So this Guru knows well the disciple, and the cause of his disappointment also. So actually, which is why when we go in front of the Guru should not be treated like Naramati, right? We should not treat the Guru like an ordinary person. Actually, if we go in front of the Guru, and we should understand his superior position. That is why generally we like to go in front of Guru and generally talk some stuff. Why should we go in front of the Guru? As in, what have we done worthwhile to go in front of the Guru? We go in front of Guru and then we just talk about ourselves. That's all it ends up with, right? Most of the times. And Guru will also not, he will just reciprocate and naturally exchange the feelings, but that's not necessarily the way, we have to engage, serve the Guru when we meet. So actually meeting is, unless there is service, we tend to think of that relationship on not at that level where it has to be, right? And we simply we want to just say Hare Krishna, some crazy stuff, right? So unless there's something very important to present in front of the Guru or take his guidance, instructions, etc., there's no need to really meet the Guru personally. We should meet the Guru by Vani, with Vani, as in whatever he said, when we are following whatever he's saying, then we are in touch with the Guru, right? And we engage in his service. That is more important than getting what they call in English as face time. It's not necessarily required. Actually, Guru knows everything about us. No doubt about it, right? As he will explain gradually, Vyasadeva's disappointment was due to insufficiency in presenting the signs of devotional service. Narada knew the defect. Actually, I've experienced this many times when, I had the opportunity to meet my Guru Maharaj, his own is Bhakti Vikas Maharaj. He will say something which I will not understand at that point of time. And when I come back and reflect on it, I know exactly, that he addressed the issue that I had in my heart, right? Or what I was thinking about. So, and many times we tend to use material calculations in front of the Guru. So, for example, Guru says, maybe we should try to do this. And then immediately we will get on, okay, like I think. No, if something has come from the, from his lotus mouth, that is an instruction, right? And that is empowered instruction. We should always remember this. So with the instruction, Guru also gives the mercy to carry out the instruction. So we should not try to apply logic and, at that immediately within 10 seconds, we want to put some reasoning in front of him, say why we can or we cannot or whatever. No, we should understand that, we should simply accept it. First of all, hear properly. Half of the time we are not wanting to hear, we want to speak. So we should hear. Then we should come back and we should meditate on that, saying that, okay, what has Maharaj said? What does this mean? Is there a way for me to carry out? How should I go about it? Think, meditate, discuss with other devotees, etc., etc. And subsequently, if there are like some very deep clarifications required, which might affect the direction of the service, etc., we could, go and seek further guidance from Guru. But these things are very important because Guru knows. We should. Yeah. Once, I was fortunate to meet my Guru Maharaj in Salem. This was before Corona. And he was generally asking about preaching, etc. And then he made a statement. He said, you should start preaching online. At that point of time, it's all offline classes and this and that. I didn't, then like I said, I'm telling with experience. So I told, Guru Maharaj, but, nobody comes online, nobody this, that. I was trying to reason out there. Then, obviously he will not try to substantiate or, his statement, etc. He was like, he's hearing, and he said, okay, fine. Then we came back. Then after that, when Corona hit, then that is when I realized what was the power of that instruction. If I had started that, 6 months back, then my preaching during Corona would have been much, much more, effective. Because they see the future, right? Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena seve upadekshanti te gnanam gnaninas tattvadarshinaha. They are tattvadarshis. So we should understand this. We should understand the position of Guru. That is why here Vyasadeva is not doubting. Even though he himself is he's in such an exalted position, he puts his question in front of Guru, saying that what is the problem with me? Why am I not satisfied? Narada Vacha Parasharya Mahabhaga Bhavatah Kacchidatmana Paritushyati Sharira Atma Manasayeva Va. Directly Guru is like patar hitting. No nice words. How are you, Vyasadeva? Hope you're doing fine. No, nothing. Addressing Vyasadeva, son of Parashara, Narada inquired, are you satisfied by identifying with the body or the mind as objects of self-realization? Directly to the point he's making. So what does this mean? He's saying everything that you've written so far is just connected with the body and the mind. You've given it so much importance that you think that, do you think they are the objects of self-realization? And are you satisfied by identifying body and mind as the objects of self-realization? And he's saying, son of Parashara. Why? Because he is trying to make a point here, saying that you're not some ordinary person. You have a great parentage. Your father is a great, powerful sage. Ordinary people can identify their self with the body or mind, but you cannot, because you are the great son of a great father. Ordinary men with poor fund of knowledge can identify with the body as self or mind as self, but Vyasadeva should not have done so. One cannot be cheerful by nature unless one is factually seated in self-realization, which is transcendental to the body and mind. So even devotees, sometimes we see that, we are not cheerful by nature. Why? Because we are still on the bodily platform. So for example, how do we understand this? Like, for example, how many of us here are affected by time pressure? Right? Most of us are affected by time pressure, right? Because we're all running, this, that. And if we are under that kind of pressure, how can we be cheerful? Why? Because we are on the material platform. Because if we have transcended the material platform, then first thing is we know time is in the control of the Supreme Lord. And we don't, and of course, what happens? Okay, what if I'm not able to do something on time? Nothing big, nothing, or the sky is not going to fall. So we'll be happy. We'll be okay, fine. I tried, but didn't happen on time. Of course, if you're lazy and we are not even doing whatever is required, then it's a different thing, right? But if we tried enough and we still find ourselves, running against time, then it's just time is a representative of Krishna. So we can just still be cheerful, but we are not, and we get pressurized, and we get worried, etc., etc. So we cannot be cheerful. So we have to come to the platform self-realization, at least, if not pure devotion and service, at least platform self-realization, which is Brahma Bhuta. Then we can be cheerful. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. And the devotee who has come to the Brahmabhuta stage, he is Prasannatma. He is happy, cheerful by nature. Jignasitam susampannam apitte mahadadbhutam kritavan bharatam yastvam sa sarvartha paribrahmitam. Your inquiries were full and your studies were also well fulfilled. This is very important. Your inquiries were full. As a disciple has to inquire. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So we should inquire, but with humility. And studies were also well fulfilled. So we should also do our whatever we are asked to do, whatever our acharyas have given as a path of bhakti, we should follow. Study Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam every day. So I was hearing somewhere that saying that, Bhakti Vikas Maharaj was saying that one should read at least for 1 or 2 hours a day. At least 1 or 2 hours a day. And that satisfies him, he was telling. So studies have to be well fulfilled. We should not do partial. And there is no doubt that you prepared a great and wonderful work, the Mahabharata, which is full of all kinds of Vedic sequences, elaborately explained. Jignasitam adhitam cha brahmayat tat sanatanam tathapi sochasyatmanam akritartha iva prabho. You have fully delineated the subject of impersonal Brahman as well as the knowledge there derived therefrom. Why should you be despondent in spite of all this, thinking that you are undone, my dear Prabhu? Oh Prabhu, why should you be despondent? In spite of all this, you have achieved so much. Vedanta Sutra or Brahma Sutra compiled by Sri Vyasadeva is the full deliberation of the impersonal absolute feature, Brahman. And it is accepted as the most exalted philosophical exposition in the world. It covers the subject of eternity and the methods are scholarly. So there cannot be any doubt about the transcendental scholarship of Vyasadeva. So why should he lament? Why should he lament? Because he had all the knowledge. And more importantly, he had written the, Veda Anta, the conclusion of all Vedas, which is full deliberation of the impersonal absolute truth. So why should he lament? Not that he had achieved something small. So Narada is asking, why are you thinking that you are undone, my dear Prabhu? Vyasa Uvacha. Astyeva me sarvamidam tvayoktam tathapi natma paritushyate me tanmulam avyaktam agadabodham pruchamahe tvatma bhavatma bhutam. Sri Vyasadeva said, all you have said about me is perfectly correct. Despite all this, I am not pacified. I therefore question you about the root cause of my dissatisfaction. For you are a man of unlimited knowledge due to your being the offspring of one who is self-born, which is Brahma, without mundane father or mother. So as a disciple, he submitted himself to his guru. He did not, I know everything. I've written all this. No, he said, still, I am not pacified. Directly, no duplicitousness. I therefore question you about the root cause of my dissatisfaction. You know. Why? Because you're a man of unlimited knowledge. Because you're born of Brahma. In the material world, everyone is engrossed with the idea of identifying the body or the mind with the self. This is such a simple yet super powerful statement. Right? We are also engrossed with the idea of identifying the body or the mind with the self. Which means what? Actually, we are giving so much importance to body and mind, which actually that much importance has to be given to the self. But because we don't really understand, or we are not used to thinking about the self, we are used to thinking about the body and mind, and we are engrossed in that. Throughout the day, we are simply just thinking about the body or the mind. As such, all knowledge disseminated in the material world is related either with the body or with the mind. And that is the root cause of all despondencies. Body and the mind are the root cause of all despondencies, and all knowledge is related only with this body or mind. This is not always detected, even though one may be greatest erudite scholar in materialistic knowledge. This may not be detected. This is not always detected, Prabhupada is saying, because we are actually in modes of passion and ignorance. We cannot detect this. But Prabhupada is making this analysis. Why is this world, such a despondent place? Because it is everything here, all knowledge, all action, activities, everything is just happening, is connected to the body and mind and on the bodily platform. But people don't even know what is the cause for their despondency, even if they are the greatest scholars. It is good, therefore, to approach a personality like Narada to solve the root cause of all despondencies. This is so insightful, actually. We keep wondering, saying that why don't people actually understand, what their real situation? So Prabhupada is saying, might not always be detected, even if somebody is a great scholar. So it is, therefore, we have to approach a personality like Narada, solve the root cause of all despondencies. Tavai bhavan veda samasta guhyam upasito yat purusha purana paravaresho manasaiva vishwam sajatyat avatyati gunairasangaha. My Lord, everything that is mysterious is known to you because you worship the creator and destroyer of the material world and the maintainer of the spiritual world, the original personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to the three modes of material nature. So Vyasadeva is saying why you should know. You know everything that is mysterious because you worship the Supreme Lord. And what does this mean? When you worship the Supreme Lord will reveal everything. A person who is cent% engaged in the service of the Lord is the emblem of all knowledge. Such a devotee in full perfection of devotional service is also as perfect by the qualification of the personality of Godhead. Because the personality of Godhead is perfect, by that qualification, the devotee is also perfect. As such, the eightfold perfections of mystic power Astasiddhi constitute very little of his godly opulence. A devotee like Narada can act wonderfully by his spiritual perfection, which every individual is trying to attain. Srila Narada is a cent% perfect living being, although not equal to the personality of Godhead. But because they are, under the full protection, guidance, direction of the Supreme Lord, by the qualification of Supreme Lord, they are perfect. Which means that whenever whatever is required, whatever knowledge is required, that will be revealed by the Lord. So devotee, whatever he does it perfectly. Pure devotee. So he was a cent%. Narada is a cent% living being. Cent% perfect living being. But he's not equal to the person who got it, but he's a cent% perfect because he's in touch with the perfect. So this is the stage of pure devotional service. When we reach that stage, because Lord will reveal everything to the surrendered devotee. He will give the intelligence. Tatami buddhi yogam tam. Whatever is required. Somebody has to construct a temple, but he has never done anything like that before. Lord will give the intelligence. All kinds of things. So devotee doesn't ever think, oh, how can I do this service? I don't have any capability. Of course, he thinks like that in the sense that, okay, I'm not qualified, but if Guru desires, if Krishna desires, then it can happen. That is a surrendered state. But we will think in terms of our material capability, and we don't go beyond that. We don't tend to think that there is something like mercy of Guru and Krishna. We forget that. And pure devotee doesn't. Tannarkaiva trilokim antascharo vayurivatmasakshi paravare brahmani dharmato vrataihi natasya me nyunamalam vichakshva. Like the sun, your goodness can travel everywhere in the three worlds, and like the air, you can penetrate the internal region of everyone. As such, you are as good as the all-pervasive super soul. Please therefore find out the deficiency in me despite my being absorbed in transcendence under disciplinary regulations and vows. You're as good as the all-pervasive super soul because that is the position of Guru. He can penetrate the internal region of everyone. And of course, Narada was a great devotee and his Guru both ways. So he was completely equipped to answer Vyasadeva's questions. Transcendental realization, pious activities, worshipping the deities, charity, mercifulness, non-violence, studying the scriptures under strict disciplinary regulations are always helpful. They're helpful to what? To bring the devotee to Krishna. They by themselves will not help a person achieve perfection. For example, somebody is doing archana, but he is not in a devotional mood. He's just simply doing. Right, so because somebody has said it's okay because he's in touch with the deity. If he's doing it purely, then he will come to devotional service. Now our pious activities, transcendental realization, somebody wants to be merciful to the people, etc. None of these will help achieve perfection, but they're all helpful because they will bring one to onto the path of perfection. Sri Narada Uvacha Bhavatanuditaprayam yasho bhagavato malam yenaivasaut na tushyeta manyetad darshanam khilam. Sri Narada said, you have not actually broadcast the sublime and spotless glories of the personality of Godhead. That philosophy which does not satisfy the transcendental senses of the Lord is considered worthless. So he gives the verdict. The Lord has expanded himself as living beings in order to accept loving service from them. And this alone can satisfy both the Lord and the living beings. Prabhupada writes. Our existence itself is to render loving service to Krishna. That is why he has created us. And this alone can satisfy both the Lord and the living beings. See, satisfy the Lord also. Lord is satisfied only with his devotees. Because in the spiritual world, Lord is there because he's surrounded by devotees. His only happiness is in connection with devotees. Because then in the material world, he's not very interested. Udasinavat, he's just like as if uninterested. So that is why he doesn't really, he just sets his energies into action to take care of this material world. He doesn't personally engage here. But he's there where his devotees are. And more importantly, he doesn't go beyond Vrindavan because his life is really, it says like, you are my life. And the gopis, the Vrindavan Vasis, they're all so dear to Krishna that Krishna doesn't even want to leave them and go for a moment. Dry philosophical speculations, even on the transcendental subject of the absolute, have very little attraction without directly dealing with the glorification of the Lord. So somebody might be speculating on transcendental subject only of the absolute. But if they are not directly dealing with the glorification of the Lord, it's just Brahman, Niraka, Nirguna, all that is not attractive. So look at this powerful logic Prabhupada is saying. The compiler of Vedanta Darshana is Vyasadeva. Yet he is troubled, although he is the author. So what sort of transcendental bliss can be derived by the readers and listeners of Vedanta, who are all these Nirakaravadis? So the author himself is not happy, then how can the readers be happy? Herein arises the necessity of explaining Vedanta Sutra in the form of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam by the self-same author. So why did, even though he had given everything that is there in the way, the conclusion of Vedas in Vedanta Sutra, he himself, the author, was not satisfied. So therefore, he had to explain the same Vedanta Sutra in the form of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So Prabhupada is saying why he was inspired to present Bhagavatam, which is a natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra by the same author, self-same author. So that is why anything that does not satisfy the transcendental sense of the Lord is useless. Anything, philosophy, whatever, anything that exists in this material world, if it doesn't satisfy Krishna, then it's worthless. So our work also, we will also experience utmost satisfaction, happiness, if we try to broadcast the sublime and spotless glories of the personality of Godhead. That is why actually preaching is the life. Preaching is life. If we preach only, then we can understand what real living is. It makes a big difference in terms of how we make progress in Krishna consciousness, how much mercy Krishna gives to preachers. It's unimaginable. So we should do that, because that is really what we are here for, because that pleases the Lord. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, there's nobody more dear to me than one who preaches the mystery of Bhagavad Gita to everybody, which means the scriptures. Yatha dharmadayascharthartha munivaryanukirtitaha kirtitaha na tatha vasudevasya mahima hi anuvarnitaha. Although great sage, you very broadly described the four principles beginning with religious performances, you have not described the glories of the Supreme Personality Vasudeva. The root cause of the despondency of Vyasadeva was his deliberate avoidance of glorifying the Lord in his various editions of the Puranas. He has certainly, as a matter of course, given descriptions of the glories of Krishna, but not as many as given to Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So he's written about Krishna here and there, but he's not given it as much importance as he has given Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. These four items are by far inferior to engagement in devotional service of the Lord. Sri Vyasadeva knew very well this difference. Still, instead of giving more importance to bhakti, he more or less improperly used his valuable time, and thus he was despondent. He wasted his time. That's what it is, right? He wasted his time because he wrote on Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, which is useless. So while the whole, what is the, so people are engaged in vikarma, and they're in ignorance, then they're in passion. Then there are few people who are in sattva guna who are trying to follow the Vedas. And then here the, person who edited the Vedas, wrote the Vedanta Sutra, he's unhappy and he says, all this is useless. Conclusion is Krishna. Vedescha sarve rameva vedyaha. Mukti or Brahmabhuta stage or stage of self-realization. Once someone attains this, he is satisfied. Brahmabhuta prasannatma no sochati na kankshati. Satisfaction is the beginning of transcendental bliss. So we should be satisfied with whatever we have. Even in devotional service, when we are engaged in devotional service, whatever progress we have made, if we are making sincere effort, then we should be satisfied. Of course, we can aspire for more. There's nothing wrong in that. Actually, laulyam, we should be greedy. But we should still be satisfied. We should not that we should be dissatisfied. We should be satisfied, but we can earn for more. One should progress by attaining neutrality and equality in the relative world. In this relative world, anything connected to this material world, we should just be tatastha, equal, neutral. And passing the stage of equanimity, which is Brahmabhuta, one is fixed in the transcendental in service of the Lord. As devotees also, if we want pure devotional service, then we have to come to this Brahmabhuta stage. So this is that mukti. That is mukti or Brahmabhuta. Brahmabhuta prasannatma. So he is prasanna. His atma is prasanna. And he is na sochati na kankshati. He doesn't lament, nor does he aspire for anything material. Samas sarveshu bhuteshu. He is equal to all. He sees all living entities equally as parts and parcels of Krishna and meant to serve him. Mad bhaktim labate param. In that stage, he will attain pure devotional service. So we cannot achieve pure devotional service unless we come to the Brahmabhuta stage. And Brahmabhuta stage means first that we should overcome this sochati kankshati. And devotees, we are always, even either in the past, lamenting, or in the future, anxious of something of the future. Right? So neither of these is going to make us happy. And of course, if you don't one is happy. The second thing is, if you don't come to this Brahma Bhuta platform, then we can't get pure devotional service. You can't get pure devotional service. So this is very, very important. And satisfaction here, as it is being said, we should be satisfied. Whatever it is, if we are surrendered to Krishna, then whatever is with us is Krishna's mercy. Whatever Krishna has given, whatever we have, and we should just be satisfied. And of course, we should try to do more and more for Krishna's, to please Krishna. But we should be satisfied. We should equally deal with happiness and distress equally. We should see everybody on the platform of the soul. We should give up this bodily. We should raise above this bodily conception of life. Treat even people at home as devotees of the Lord. So we have to bring about a complete change. Only when we come to that platform, can we get pure devotional service. Otherwise, we can't get pure devotional service. Okay. Okay, I think we'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Anybody has any questions? Our attendance is dwindling. Anyway. Any questions?
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah.
So Prabhupada writes in one of the purport that the sacrificial fire and all these things should be performed, right? So that is for the understanding of Vedas, in case someone is planning to have a very detailed study, right? For devotional service as such, that requirement is not a prerequisite, right?
No, but spiritual master. So spiritual master is there, and yagna for us is there, not fire sacrifice, but sankirtana yagna. So whatever is relevant for us, that has already been told, right? And we are already following. So we should always, whenever we read something like this, one is, see in Bhagavatam, we should also understand, for example, many places, there is a path of bhakti which is given, for example, which is gnana plus bhakti, ashtanga yoga plus bhakti, based on different times, different devotees, situations, etc., etc. We should not keep wondering, saying that, for example, second canto, Shukadeva Goswami starts with answering about Virat Rupa. And we should not think that, oh, okay, I have to do Virat Rupa meditation. No, because subsequently it comes and says, no, all this is okay, but finally we have to do devotional service to Krishna. And sometimes some devotees, like if suppose it is a Sati Yuga, some Leela is going on, then it might be based on dhyana, or, so not everything is all directly relevant to us at all times. So we have to understand the context. But for us, for bhakti, whatever we need to do has already been given. So we don't have to get confused. But we are just trying to understand the context of many of these with respect to the devotees who are in connection with whom it is being spoken. Otherwise, we can just understand that, yeah, like you said, possibly it is for understanding Vedas or, yeah, some other related process.
Okay.
Okay. Any takeaways?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Unless one is initiated, all that devotional services what we do will be useless. I have heard so, Prabhuji. Is it true, Prabhuji?
Not that it is useless. Actually, initiation is beginning of devotional service. So pre-initiation is beginning of devotional service. That's all. I mean, initiation doesn't mean that we achieved something, right?
Okay.
Initiation just means that we just started our process formally.
Because not everybody will be able to take initiation. So I have that.
Yeah, but eventually, see, Krishna's first mercy to a sincere devotee is he brings him or her to a spiritual master. So if we have not come to the platform of being initiated, or we have come in connection with devotees, gurus, etc., but we don't want to take, then we are holding back. We are not completely ready to receive the mercy of Krishna. But initiation is an absolute must, because it's the beginning of devotional service. Now, till then, whatever we do brings us to Guru. And then whatever we do in under the guidance of Guru brings us to Krishna. So Krishna gives us Guru, then Guru gives us Krishna.
Because we have seen so many exalted devotees who directly connects with Krishna without
Like
any.
who? No,
Like
no.
Vilva Mangalam Thakur.
No, but he had a Guru, no? He had a
In-
Guru. He had Chintamani is considered as Guru. He also has a Parampara Guru.
In Kerala, we have heard of so many stories like Kuru Raman and all. They were exalted devotees. They had some direct connection with Krishna.
No, Mataji, there can't be any direct connection. See, I mean, Brahma himself doesn't have a direct, as in, apart from Brahma, like Narada himself doesn't have direct connection with Krishna.
Yes,
How can anybody have direct connection with Krishna? That is why this whole parampara is there. No, Krishna doesn't accept anybody like that. Unless like it is like even Vyasadeva, for example, as a guru.
Yes, yes.
So, I mean, there can be stories.
Okay.
Uh,
How can they say like that?
Yeah, I mean, people will say their guru is God also, no? So anyway, people can say whatever they want. What is that, Suma Mataji? I didn't understand. Guru?
Guru Rama, just now Mataji said no. So Prabhuji, even she had a guru.
Oh, okay.
In Kerala.
Oh, okay, okay.
She was a very great devotee of Lord Krishna.
Okay. Okay. Any other takeaways from today? No takeaways. Okay.
One takeaway is that spiritual master knows disciple to a great extent, and whatever he speaks, even if it doesn't make sense at that point of time, should be reflected upon because it's applicable. And another very important point you mentioned is that there is no need for a FaceTime with Guru, because unless you are serving him, which can be done by Vani service also, you don't need a Vapu as such.
Unless we have like service associate, like there is some service we have been called to do some service, not simply Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Guru Maharaj, how are you? This is not required. As in, this is not required. Okay, nice. Okay, then.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, you told same thing, like with instruction, Guru gives blessings and
Yeah. With instruction, Guru gives blessings, yes.
And sincerity, seriousness are the core principle of progress.
Yeah. And the root cause of all despondency in the material world is because we relate with the body and mind. So at any point of time, if we are sad, unhappy, blah, 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 this means that we have come down to the material platform. Then, yeah, so we have to come to the Brahmabhuta platform, right? So we have to come to Brahmabhuta platform. That means that we have to definitely raise above this bodily platform, bodily and mental platform. Any thoughts about this? Raising above bodily and mental platform?
That's when the sorry. Please go ahead.
Go ahead, Yamini Mataji. You started speaking.
Yep. Yeah, it is when we come out of this body consciousness and our mental consciousness and purely devote to God, that's when we get the pure devotion towards God and towards Krishna, and that's when we start relating to Krishna.
Yeah, so my question is, how do we now get over this bodily conception?
We should stop thinking about the past and worrying about the future.
Okay. That,
And
that easily
and-
said than done.
and then we'll have to think about, God is always there in our heart. So Krishna is always there in our heart. So we should try to relate more to the internal Krishna that we have.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, if we have to rise above the bodily platform, but we have to do the karmas with our body now, Prabhuji. So when we get the health issues, emotional problems and all, we can, to some extent, by performing devotional service, we can satisfy and we can come to that state of mind. But body difficulties and discomforts and all that, Prabhuji, health issues and all that, because we need this body to perform devotional service. So how
So
can
you're asking a question for a question. So I asked a question, you are asking a question on that question.
No, Prabhuji, there is only one way, devotional service, because nothing can quench this thirst. Because
Okay.
what we think is problems. And we have found the solution also, because we are getting satisfied by doing the devotional service. That means this is the only thing to save us.
Okay. So, okay, anyway, so we'll discuss your point. So my question is, okay, Mataji's point is, yeah, we have to raise above all this platform, but when we have bodily problems, etc., we get stuck. Okay, when we don't have health issues or we're not in any trouble, then is it easy to raise above the bodily platform?
Yes.
Or how do we do? Okay.
Completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness. So
Very good. Okay. Other devotees, any thoughts?
By being in cent% in Krishna consciousness.
Being 10% in Krishna consciousness. Okay. How can we be 10% in Krishna consciousness?
By doing all the prescribed services and keeping Krishna at the center of every activity and then doing it.
Again, I mean, please give, everything that we speak should be from doable. Should be doable, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So surrendering everything to Supreme Lord ultimately.
Surrendering everything. Arey Baba, बहुत बड़ा बात बोल दिया. That is Atma Nivedanam.
Yeah. So
that is like the topmost platform.
Yeah, like whatever activities we do on daily basis, not doing it for our own sake and not having the proprietorship, but thinking that God is basically enabling us to do that, and first sensing that whether it is even anukul, favorable for the devotional service or not, so that we can continue doing it. And if it is not coming into that checklist, then maybe ignoring it and then trying to do more things which are favorable, and then finally submitting all the results to the Supreme Lord. I think that's what will make us 100% Krishna conscious.
Prabhuji, by Nishkama Karma Yoga initially, if we can elevate, doing that, we can elevate to the higher state.
Okay. So, what do we need to do? We need to do Nishkama Karma Yoga. Should we do Bhakti Yoga? Should we surrender results to Krishna? Should we surrender ourselves to Krishna? So many paths devotees are saying. What do we do now?
Prabhuji, initially for a materialistic person, it is easier to do Nishkama Karma Yoga, Prabhuji.
Materialistic person will not come to Nishkama Karma.
I mean, normal people like I have, we can only do like that, Prabhuji. Otherwise, it is very difficult doing everything for the satisfaction of Krishna. Otherwise, if we get ego and envy and all the problems if we are doing for somebody else. So initially starting with doing for Krishna, we will never have those. In my case, I'm talking about this.
We should not get stuck in this Nishkama Karma Yoga platform. I don't know. See, the only answer to all this whole question was 100% bhakti. And the only way to do it is association of devotees who can help us, guide us in each and every aspect of our life to ensure that we are actually 100% Krishna conscious. I mean, well, the answer was correct, 100% Krishna conscious. But my question was how? Because, I mean, today we are working, so many people are working, people are cooking. Like I was asking the other day, right? We cook. Do we cook thinking what Krishna likes? Do we cook thinking what my husband likes, what my children like, what my in-laws like? What mood do we cook? When we decide what we are cooking for the day, what is the basis for our decision?
What we like.
So we are going for work. Why are we going to do work?
Yeah, we like to do that work.
See, we should understand this. We can be theoretical. That is why I'm asking, saying, be practical about what you are saying, because it should work, right? See, we can say all this saying, we have to surrender everything. Today, we will not surrender our soap brand to Krishna. How many of us here will change the soap brand from tomorrow, or your toothpaste, or the color of clothes that you wear, or anything for that matter? I mean, I'm exaggerating, right? Of course, we will be willing to do some things we are ready to give up. But there are so many things that we are not yet ready to give up because we are not thinking in connection with Krishna. And, this Suma Mataji karma, Nishkama karma, we are not doing Nishkama karma. We should not be doing Nishkama karma yoga. We should be doing Bhakti yoga. This is called Krishna karma. Prabhupada says very, very clearly, saying, see, Nishkama karma is not for, Nishkama karma is for those who have a lot of propensity to do work. But that is not the platform, as in we should, which is why we engage with pure devotees, because they show us the path of pure devotional service. The mood should be bhakti, and then, okay, by the way, I have to take care of this family, so I have to work. That should be the mood. If I hit a jackpot and I get money that can take care of my work, then I'll resign. If it will take care of my family, then I'll resign. As in, Nishkama karma is where we have a lot of propensity to do work. We want to work. That is a lower platform. It is okay. Yes, like you said, if somebody has propensity to work, then Nishkama karma yoga is okay. But we should come to bhakti yoga. Meaning everything is done for the satisfaction of Krishna, not for my satisfaction. But that will take a long time, and we have to identify each and every aspect of our life, each and every thought process, each and everything that we are doing in our life to see whether it is for me. Me means I, me, mine, extended me, etc., or is it for Krishna? So simple thing, like for example, right? Like we come to temple, we go to temple, right? We dress. What is our criteria for dressing? Simple things I'm asking. Simple things. What is the criteria for our dressing?
Dhoti for Prabhuji and saris for
No. What is our criteria? Meaning, on what basis do I decide what am I going to wear?
To please Krishna.
How do we please Krishna? So, for example, right, like let me talk about Prabhus, because I don't know much about Mataji's, how you think. For example, Prabhus, right, like today, initially when Prabhupada was there, everybody used to wear white. Prabhus used to wear white or saffron. That's all. No color kurta fashion. Right? Now today we want to wear color. Then what happens when we wear when actually this thing comes to my mind. Sarvabhauma Prabhu, he is like very senior preacher in ISKCON. So he was here in Bangalore last week, and he was giving overview of Bhagavad Gita, and he said in one place, he said, go to anybody's house and open their wardrobe. Okay, so the number of clothes that person has, so many bodies he will have to take. As in, you were just saying that the more clothes one has, the more bodily conception that person is in. Right? So for example, if I have 2 colors, if I have only 1 color to wear, then there's no question of any choice, right? There's no waste of brain power to think what to wear, what not to wear. Simply is the same white every time, right? It's just one is washed, one is put for wash, etc. Right? But if you have color, then you're thinking, okay, should I wear blue? Should I wear yellow? Should I wear this? Should I wear that? Which shall I wear? And then the answer to that question will be what? Which shall I wear is answer I am giving. I think I'll wear yellow. Why? Because I want to wear, isn't it? So if suppose say we want to dress for the pleasure of Krishna, we don't have to have 500 clothes for that, isn't it? We can have 2 sets of clothes. We can have 4 sets of clothes. We can have no, I'm just exaggerating here. Say same sari, 4 of the same type, like a uniform. I mean, I'm just saying that I'm just trying to, poke, right? For us to think, saying that how much are we actually like thinking for Krishna, doing for the pleasure of Krishna, or are we just thinking that I'm thinking for Krishna? So this coming to Brahmabhuta, because otherwise coming to Brahmabhuta platform would have been like a cakewalk. If you are so doing everything for the pleasure of Krishna, then we don't get affected by our body. We don't get affected by the condition of our body, whether it is healthy, not healthy, who cares? Because I'm not the body. I will do devotional service. So on one end, we are saying we want to do, we are doing everything for the pleasure of Krishna. On the other end, we are thinking, I have body and body is troubling me. Then it's not on the same platform. So please introspect your own situation. The whole point is that we have to come to Brahmabhuta if we want Krishna Prema. Otherwise, no problem. We can enjoy whatever that means, the material world. But if we want Krishna Prema, then we have to come to Brahmabhuta. And Brahmabhuta means that giving up all this material attachment to body and mind. Okay, so I'll stop here. Tomorrow we'll meet at 8. Again, whoever can join, can please join. We'll continue from here. Okay. Panchakalpatarubhyashta kripa sindhubhyo vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnava ki jai, Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat.
Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.